If you want that money, be double O. And if you want that trophy, take double O. And if you want to be a winner, be double O. And if you want to be a champ, take double O. Be double O, take double O. Be double O, take double O. Be double O, take double O. Be cold, be double O, take double O.
What's up, everybody? We are back at the BE00TAKE00 Show, episode number 32. I am your co-host, the PJ North, for those wondering, with my partner in crime, one of my best friends, Tebow. Fluff, what's up, baby?
You got my whole week messed up, man.
I know, I'm really sorry.
You texted me yesterday and you were like, "Are you good to do the show tomorrow?" And I'm like, "We had a test session yesterday," and I was stuck on the fact it was Monday, and I'm like, "What is wrong with this guy?"
I
like,
know, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I'm fine, bro. What's wrong? And then
That's my bad.
I'm like an hour ago, I was like, "Oh, it's Monday." Okay.
That's my bad. With the schedules, man. The schedule's messed up. Obviously, they threw a divisional in the middle of the week for fun, so we got to go do that in St. Louis. But I appreciate you accommodating, and I appreciate all of y'all joining us. If you're watching live on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Let us know that you're digging the show, or if you're not digging the show, leave your comments. Tyler will provide you with an expert response, I am sure. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, don't forget to hit that follow button as well. Leave a review. Those help us out. And let us know what your thoughts are on the show, man. You can follow me. I'm at the PJ North across socials. Tyler is at Tyler3678, and Tyler Bohannon on the Book of Faces. So check it out. We appreciate y'all joining. And this week is a special episode. We are very lucky to be joined by the multi-time world champion, arguably the best to ever do it. He is Mosier Engineered, sponsored, Fuel Factory, the whole shebang. Better known as Cool Hand Luke Bogacki. Luke, what's up, man?
What's happening, fellas? Thanks for having me on. I'm fired up.
Hey, we're fired up to have you. I was gonna say podcaster, co-host of the Sportsman Drag Racing podcast with Luke and Jed. Maybe you've heard that golden voice there. We're thankful to have you. Thanks for coming to talk some drag racing with us. Before we get into it, how was your time racing last weekend? What's the update? What's the scuttlebutt over there in the Bogacki camp?
Short-lived.
That's how that works sometimes, I guess.
In real time here. This is great podcasting. My son is mowing the yard and he's waving at me, so I'm going to assume that the lawnmower is stuck. I hope it's not in a pond. I can't come right now, buddy.
Hold on.
So that's
new house.
Racing last week was not great. I tried to run my Vega in Super Gas, which was entertaining.
For the viewers or for you?
How did you do? I want to know. So when we were in Belrose, you were doing the shit with the Roadster that was just making it look like it was fun. What were you doing? How did you go 990 with the Vega?
990 with the Vega. So it's got to go like 627 to the 8th wide open to go 990 wide open. And I've done it before, but I had a little bit more motor. So I entered like I'll run Super Gas the Vega. That'll be fun. I've done it before. Well, at the million, it went 642 best, and I'm like, oh.
Bro, can relate. Okay. I already love this.
Shit, what am I gonna do here? So I did have like 90 pounds on the back, so I ditched that. I took out the nitrous bottle. I took out one battery. So now I've got 150 pounds, but it's all off the back bumper.
Yeah.
And I got to tip it up to like 5,200. So I'm in completely uncharted territory. Like, I don't know if it's going to flip over backwards or blow the tires off or what. And I didn't think I had enough ET there. So I took the bead locks off and put regular wheels on. Well, the first time run, it leaves them 008, like 5,000 in the box. It does a wheelie. I'm like, badass. And then I'm watching this 100, I would, Pat the Bottas is who I was running, so 170. So I'm watching him, I'm like, damn, he's way back there. I'm like, man, this is going to be crazy, right? Like, and I'm watching, I'm like, there's no way he's going to get there. Ooh, here he comes. And I'm like, then I go across and I got there like over a car length. I'm like, oh, I saw it right. There's no way he's going to get there. And then I went, maybe I went under. And I went 84. So I was all fired up. I'm like, I got a chance. And then I tried to get cute. I added a battery back in and thinking it'd go like 88, 89 because I didn't want to hold a ton at 130. And it went like 92. It was in the heat. And I'm like, there's no way a battery slowed it down 800. It's like that. in the morning run, like I'll be close there. I'll be 88 or something like that. Well, so I leave it for the morning run. I'm 20. My man's 50 something. I see it. I'm like, all right, just cross first. I'm like, damn, he's getting close. Like, I think I got to hold on my floor to cross first. I'll hold on. I still ain't sure I'm going to get there. I'm 7th out behind, 94 wide open. So that's what I get for being a horse and trying to get halfway close. I should have just left it on 84 and tried it. So, yeah, that was it.
Man,
At least you took your helmet off at the turnoff and went back to the trailer.
Oh, my God. If we're going
to I think the helmet came off before I turned off.
Oh,
yeah.
my God. Yeah, so if it did, NHRA wouldn't have said nothing to Luke Bogacki, just to be clear here, okay? I can't even flip my shield up without getting in trouble. Roll down the window a little,
He ain't worried about you, dog.
I know that's right.
The battery charger's plugged back in. You still got yours on.
Hey, for those
on the first time trial, I rolled in the water and the dude comes over waving his arms. He's like, "Hey man, you got to roll your window up." And I was like, "Can I do it when I get up there?" Yeah. So I did my burnout and then I rolled my window up like I always do. So, yeah.
See, this is, we got these guys showing up. They don't want to follow none of the rules. They got their own shit going on. And I'm the one that's the fucking problem. I don't want to hear that shit. You know what? All right, I've had enough of both of you already. Well, I'm glad that you've joined us, after your excursion in Super Gas. I guess we're going to stay on that. We're going to get into points and things later on, and we're going to talk to Luke, obviously, about his career and different things. Just the couple of the headlines. NHRA pros and everything at St. Louis. Literally the pros. Allison pros, handles business in Super Comp again. That's back-to-back. And her brother almost gets it done in Super Gas, which I thought was really cool. That would have been potentially the first ever brother-sister national. I didn't look this up, but I'm making this stat up because it sounds good for the internet. But I said that's got to be a potential. Like, I don't know that I've ever heard of that many doing it. So that would have been cool. But shout out to Nathan Pros.
I can't think of one off the top
I just can't think of a lot of brother-sister combos that run in HRA where they both have been, both been in the thing. Obviously, Jimmy Hidalgo gets it done in stock. Kevin Helms in super stock. And another first, Dan Lafferty, which I thought was cool because I did not know that Dan Lafferty had never won a national event. I just assumed he's always been fast. I've met him a handful of times at the Boise race and stuff. He got his first win in Top Sportsman. So, or was it Top Sportsman or Top Dragster? I didn't say.
Top Sportsman.
Top Sportsman, right? Okay. Pretty cool though for that. I thought that was kind of neat. So, and also Matt Alvey, man, shout out to Big Matt. I just think that was so cool to win in Comp Eliminator, his first national.
It was. I know it's a pretty special deal for him too because he's been after it for a while, and he's rode the roller coaster of Comp Eliminators. So super happy for him. I did text him yesterday, and I was like, "Thank God now you can quit that shit and give up on it, please." And he was like, "Definitely." He said, "But I just hope this gets me on the podcast now." I was like, "Yeah, we can get you."
Bro, well, I love that he acknowledged it. I am obviously a huge Matt. I think the world of Matt. I think he's like one of the nicest guys in superstar. Like, he's just one of those guys you meet. He is the life of the party, but in like the best way. Yep. So shout out to Matt Alvey getting it done. His first national event win in Comp Eliminator. So that car is for sale. If you want a badass Comp Eliminator car that wins an H altered, which is like a big deal, right? I mean, H altered's
it's not slow.
Yeah. You can buy yourself a Cobalt, 180,000. I think get it done, right? Something like that.
Yep. What'd you say?
No, go ahead.
I was actually thinking about pros again because I just realized that he didn't better. I don't think he bettered maybe a round or something.
One of the semis maybe. We can look at it when we talk about that later. I thought that was kind of
sorry. It was right next to Matt Alvey, and
that's great. No, it's great. Yeah, man.
If you had told Nathan like coming in, hey man, you're gonna runner up at the St. Louis National, like in contention for the world, he would have definitely taken that.
Yeah.
If you'd have told him he was gonna runner up to Unruh, he might.
No, yeah, that's the problem.
Like that could be a really big round.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a crazy. He does better. The 84 does better. A 51. No, a 51 is what he had to bet.
Okay, so he did have one.
Yeah, he did have. I was thinking of the divisionals that he did, but either way, we're going to talk all about points. We'll get into all that. The other takeaway from NHRA was the pros, the actual pro eliminator races. A lot of parity. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed watching. Shout out to my guy TJ. Made it to the semis finally. TJ's had a rough go of it, man. So I gotta give a shout out to TJ because he's had. And I just texted him when he lets go one. I just texted him LFG, my guy. Like, let's rip. And then they asked him about his banana at the finish line. I just thought it was a good, like I said, a lot of the parity in the pro classes. Ida Zetterstrom throws down a perfect light in Top Fuel. Obviously, like even if it was luck, it still takes skill to be anything better than 20. So like,
They can't be better than 20. That's luck too.
Yeah,
bro.
She's perfect,
except
and
for just Ashley.
she's perfect. And Tony Stewart next to her is 23.
Right, but they both.
I'm just saying that's pretty impressive. I understand that it's luck that they didn't go red. I don't care about that. That part is irrelevant. The part is that it happened in the same run. And I thought it was interesting.
It is kind of cool. I will say, Luke said he doesn't pay that close of attention. Have you noticed that there's one guy that can get his foot on the floor 300ths faster than everybody else in Top Fuel?
Actually trees the hell out of everybody, doesn't he?
Yes, like a solid 300ths on the field.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It is. I don't know.
The good thing is that we can't even ask him how to do it because he won't tell. Right? Like that's a cool thing. He's like, hey, I got a trick that nobody.
Oh, I don't.
Right?
I don't need to know. I just need him to make 3 runs in my dragster, and I'll know everything I need to know.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Like there's nothing mechanical. Like surely if it's not mechanical, everybody else would have figured it out, right?
Yeah, that's what I like. That's the thing. When Bo was struggling in the pro stock car, we drove a dragster together, and I was like, okay, well, this is 2.5 hundredths. This is it right here. Like I would just, you put them you let them hit the top with you one time, and you can figure out like, are they fast or not? And it's got to be something to have 300ths, I think. But he might be 1/100th of it.
Okay.
And do you see like a correlation? Like I've had this theory for years, and I used to think I was fast. Now I'm not fast at all. I guess got old. I don't think I was that fast to begin with. I thought I was fast, and then I drove behind Scotty one time.
Yeah.
And I was like, by the time we made like 5 runs, and it was obvious that I just didn't need anywhere near in the box what he did. I legit asked him, I'm like, how do you let go so consistent, letting go before the light comes on? I'm like, that's amazing. I mean, he had like 2 more than I did. But whether it's driving behind somebody or like on a practice tree, I'm trying to think of like the 4 fastest I've ever seen. Scotty, Jag, Nick Folk, Peter. Like there's got to be something to that. I mean, Anthony's over there on the other end of the spectrum. I think he's like 400 slower than me, and obviously he does pretty good.
My guy waits for the second light to come on. He gets it. That's my guy.
Yeah.
I can.
Too fast and consistent.
I always thought I was fast because everybody that I did drive behind was slower than me. But like Champ and Lampton and Sarah runs some numbers that just don't even make sense in the universe, kind of like Scotty. And then, JP's 400ths behind me, like legitimately, 800 swing, on guys who can hit the tree. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just odd that I feel like I know Langdon's not slow, and I don't think he's that slow, and he's 60, right? Like if he smokes it. So you're telling maybe there is guys out there that are 300s faster than Langdon.
Interesting.
And there's just one of them in Top Fuel.
Wow, that's a good parity to have right now, too, especially because he's making a lot of good runs. And they can't, you said mechanical, right? It's a perfect example. He's on a smaller team. So, would they have the ability and resources?
Is it a smaller team now?
Yeah, they're not on he's sponsored by Skag, but he's on a small team, right? It's just him on that team, right? He's
they got a funny car, and
he's not on Wilkerson's team.
Isn't Skag all one now?
Is Skag one? They might be one. Okay, that makes sense. It might be one team. Okay. I thought that they were just sponsoring different cars like the Johnson's horsepower thing.
No, I think it's a full-on program now.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
That's interesting.
Well, the people that tune these nitro cars, obviously way smarter than any of us. But have you not, thought for years, the amount of money that they spend trying to get, 2 or 300s? Surely they can find a way to get them things out of the beams.
Oh, yeah, they're missing 6.
I do think that's the biggest thing. You're always trying to go 377. Well, how about we go 379, but always leave 20 or 40?
Tell me, I just want to know how I can deck it. If you gave me a 410s Pro Tree in my Super Comp car and I left from an idle, what do you think we could be? I still feel like I can be better than 60.
Well, their idles. Hold on, their idles. You're not leaving at 1100, my guy.
But they're going 860 to 60 with a 23-inch front tire. You can't. I understand that they can't do it, but why?
No, I know. I'm saying in a Super Comp car, it's not relatable. You're leaving at 1100. They're leaving at $4,000 on the chip. I think.
No,
right?
No, they're idling.
I don't know if it's a regular idle, dog.
Okay, well, I'll bring it up to $2,000. That's just going to make me even faster. They should be able to be that.
All right, Clay Milliken. Look, Leah, if you're listening, we need you to set it up. We want to see Tyler on the simulator to figure out why That's a video this winter. Tyler trying to figure out how to drive a top fueler. Right?
I don't know if yeah, sure.
You don't have to get in the race car. We'll just get on the simulator to see how they do it.
It's not the same. Can they fire the race car next to me so that it feels like I'm in it?
Yeah, they got it in a rumble. It's like it's almost like an iRacing setup where the thing moves around on you, except it just shakes your helmet the whole time. Incredible. Well, that's good. NHRA pros at St. Louis, man. A lot of things happening over there in the pro ranks. The other big thing, Spring Fling was run by door cars. I just wanted to call it out because I thought it was cool. Obviously, the Fling, they have a door car only race. I don't even know if they need it because the door cars ran roughshod over everybody at Bristol. Shout out to our boy CG. He got it done. John Corbin, I saw, got it done. And Kevin Pruitt got it done. So,
John Corbin, by the way, bad dude.
Dude, super great guy. I met him at Virginia for the first time. Obviously, I knew who he was, but met him for the first time at Virginia. And yeah, super great guy. He can let go with the best of them. I saw a lot of people saying that. Yeah. So, Caden, that's a great point. Fulcher is fast letting go and is like 20 in an Alki car. The Alki car is a little different, right? The Alki car is different because some of them are on.
Can they hit it?
Yeah, because some of them are on converters. Some of them are on.
Well, he's in an A fuel car though. I mean, he's leaving.
So he's a regular one. Oh, well then he just smokes it.
So he is fast though, right? Because I think they can only be like 40 if they smoke it in those things. Some of them.
Maybe we need to talk to Zach Fulcher about it. He knows. He can hook us up with Randy Meyer. We can get this figured out. We've got some myth busting to do, and we're gonna figure it out. Take that down as a note, director, producer of the show. Oh, okay, I'll take that down. That's our next item.
Yeah, I thought you were talking to me for a second.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Don't worry. Wasn't nobody talking to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, shout out to the Spring Fling. Like I said, Pete and those guys, I think they got one race left, the door car only race at Galat. So that should be interesting to see. All right, Lee, I don't know what I think about a chassis. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out for Tyler. We're going to get into that, though. We're going to get Clay on the show, too. We're going to have him talk about pros someday. All right, let's talk to Luke, man. Let's move over here. Luke, obviously, I think everybody knows you, right? I will say this, though. I have learned in my actual career of life that there are people that drag race who don't know certain things. They don't know PJ North is, which is nice sometimes. They don't know who – I asked them. They race at Greer Dragway, had no idea who Kevin Brannon was. And I was like, that's kind of weird. So I know that there are people that might be listening who do not know who Luke Bogacki is. Luke, you just want to do a quick introduction of yourself. I did some justice, but just a highlight of yourself.
Yeah, just a racer, man. Grew up at Texas Raceway, watching my dad, and things kind of propelled from there. So I've been doing it all my life. Been going to the racetrack since I was like 3 years old. Been racing since I was 12, maybe with a couple year hiatus there to pump fuel and save up money for a big car. But yeah, so been at it a while, and I don't know. I think I still have as much fun as I used to. So it's great.
We love that. I think, like I said in the post too, I think, arguably maybe the greatest sportsman driver of all time, just for your longevity.
Like, in the introduction, I saw that on the Facebook post, and like,
look, hold on. You're not going to sit here and be self-deprecating on my podcast.
We're going to do this to you,
I am
PJ.
self-deprecating. You don't get to be self-deprecating.
Just quick story time, okay? Just indulge me a little bit. So I see that on Facebook, and I'm like, somewhere like, Scotty Richardson's rolling over his grave, like Peter Biondo's rolling his eyes. I'm thinking myself, well, literally within like 5 minutes, I'm on a text thread with Matt Daddis and Gage Bird, which is awesome, right? Because those two guys are incredible at what they do, and they just like have so much fun about it, right? So it's kind of brought some of that element back to me. And I'm telling them, they're asking me how Supergas went last weekend, which is how we started the show, right? And I'm like, well, so I go through the same spiel I gave you guys. I'm like, well, this weekend we're going to add a second to the index. Like, I feel a little bit more competitive, right? Then I go into telling the story about how I've run Super Street like 4 times in my life and in my Vega. And the last time I did it, I think Tyler was there. Hopefully you were still asleep because Super Street's first thing in the morning. But the first round of Super Street in Belrose like 2 years ago, my throttle stop didn't work. Like, it didn't come on.
Oh, no,
so
I was awake.
I'm going like 1086. I'm going like 10 flat. Well, you know what? I didn't realize that the damn throttle stop never came on. Like, I guess I'm just used to making wide open. I'm just out here in my own little world. And it comes down from the wheelie, and I'm like, damn, he's way back there. That poor fella must have broke something. So I chuck it on through to 1,000 foot. I shut her down. My wind light doesn't come on, and I'm like, that thing's broke, man. I'm like 2/10 over. Dude, I went 1020 on a 1090. So you cannot, like, the two things are mutually exclusive, PJ.
Okay, fair enough.
The best racer that's ever put on a helmet and make that run. Like, you can't do both. So
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
All right.
I'm out.
All right,
Hey.
arguably the best racer in the group of us three right here. How about that? Is
Well,
that better?
that we don't have to argue that, buddy. Okay.
I was just trying to make it easier for everyone listening at home. You know what I mean? All right. Well, arguably one of the top 50 drivers of all time to ever race at Texas
There you
Raceway
go.
on a Saturday in the 90s in a junior dragster. Buddy, I can narrow this down with the best of them. You know what I'm saying? Well, obviously, like I said, I've known Luke a long time. We've done a lot of stuff with your podcast and things like that, and I've been very blessed to have the opportunity to be a part of This Is Bracket Racing Elite and see just like a lot of stuff and how you've grown that. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But I want to know, outside of the Vega, because I obviously know that is your favorite car. What's your favorite race car that you've ever got to drive that you didn't own?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I don't know if you've owned all of the ones you drove. I assumed you drove for some people, so.
Yes. So the first one that comes to mind is I got to drive Scotty Stilling's modified car at 4 races.
That's number 2 on my list.
Tyler can attest. Any modified car. The first time that I took it, I went to, I think we were at Valdosta, and he's got me shutting off, like not 1,000 foot, but at the 8th, like for qualifying purposes. So I shut off at the 8th, the first couple of runs, and he calls me that night, and we're going into first round. He's like, "What do you think?" I'm like, "I think we're all good, except," well, the first thing he told me was, "Hey man, try to keep it under like 9,000 in the water." And I'm like, "Dude, that won't be a problem, right?" And then I realized the tires don't start spinning until it gets up to like 7,500, $8,000. Anyway. He calls me after this first day of shutting off at the 8th. He's like, "All right, you ready for tomorrow?" I'm like, "Yeah, we just got one problem." He said, "What's that?" I said, "When I get to the 8th, I want a broom hold the gas down so I can crawl out the damn window." So that thing's screaming. And I got to go like the other half of the track now. But it was probably, and it was like a bracket modified car. Like it would barely run the index, and it was badass. It was cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny that all of our top cars are all modified cars. I would say that we've all driven, like I would venture to guess, Tyler, right? One of your favorites is probably a modified car as well, right?
The exact same car he's talking about. I made 9 runs in it on a Friday night, and we had a $2,000, and I won it. Yeah. And it was the most fun that I've ever had.
Modified. That's the common thread. So if Matt Forbes is listening, it doesn't take much to talk us into modified, you know?
No.
All right. What's your favorite win from obviously your career has spanned multiple decades and things like that, and across juniors and big cars, but what's your favorite or most memorable win that sticks with you?
Man, the one that will always stick out to me, and some of your listeners have probably heard me tell this story because I tell it a lot, but it was 2010. It was the first year that I chased NHRA, and we're coming into the end of the season. I'd had a good year in Super Comp, and the last points race that I could claim was in Reynolds, Georgia. And I just moved up here at the time. So it's a long way from Illinois to Reynolds, Georgia. And I didn't really even want to go. And I'm like, I'm a long shot at best. I get to adding up the points. Ray was leading at the time. And I really thought he was going to win the championship. Well, I do the math and I'm like, Ray's going to lose first round. I got to win the race and we'd be tied. So I actually called NHRA and I'm like, "Hey, who wins the tiebreaker?" Right? Because I'm like, I can't figure this stuff out. And they assured me that I would win on like the 3rd tiebreaker. And I'm like, I kind of didn't even want to hear that because I didn't want to go. But I'm like, now there's a chance. I feel like I got to go, right? Yeah. So I go down there. It was me and my father-in-law. And it just like laid out. It was almost meant to be. Ray, I think he's in front of me in the water because I tried to chase him up first round. Because, I'm not thinking that there's 7 other people with a chance. In my mind, it's just Ray, right? I miss him by a car. He's, I think, a thou red in front of me. And when he hits the tires, the coil wire falls off. It's like he wasn't going to win.
Okay.
And so there's a chance, right? But it's a long shot. I'm still 6 rounds away, 7 rounds away, whatever it was. And I win that. It's Saturday night. Come into Sunday in this thing that just seems like this far-fetched like dream. With every win light, it gets a little bit more real, right? And I get down at 5 or 6 cars. I ran Edmund, and he was in the hunt, a little bit further back, but definitely had championship aspirations. When that win light came on, like I hadn't screamed so loud in my life. And now it's literally legit. Now this happy-go-lucky, like what are the odds? Now you're 2 rounds away, and now you really start feeling the pressure, even though nobody else at the racetrack knew what was going on. Like I knew, right?
Sure.
And,
you were the only one who had looked at those stats that
yes.
knew what. Yeah.
So anyway, I win the final, and I was, Tyler, from your class racing background, like it's neutral and shut it off. I guarantee you could hear me at the starting line. I mean, freaking fired up, right? Yeah. It's still the coolest thing I've ever done, like to kind of win on command. Now, fast forward a little bit, there was this dude named Gary Stennett that still had a shot too.
Was that the year he scored 700?
No, we weren't that high that year. Like I think I ended up with like 630 something. But Gary had to win like 6th round at Vegas to pass me, and guess what? He lost 7th. I finished 2nd. But you can't ever take that day away from me. Like that was awesome. So that's still my favorite one
that's
for sure.
Pretty cool. They were talking about him this weekend, right? At St. Louis, 4-time national champion Gary Stennett, and I'm like, damn, you forget, like in your mind, like, oh my gosh, wow.
It is so hard. Like I've thought about it, and I mean, I really haven't. I would say that I've made 5 years. I made real runs at trying to do it. And like, it's hard. It is the hardest thing that I've done in racing is trying to do it, because you can screw up and win one day.
Right.
Anybody can screw up and win one day. But it's hard.
Yeah,
and to do it 4 times is crazy. I've
got that on a list to talk about those world championships too, because I think that's such like a crucial part, right? When we talk about these points, that we'll get into, and I want to talk to you about that, Tyler, about like what it takes mentally. So we'll get into that. One of the things I like to ask people too, because some people, I think sometimes losses stick with myself and Tyler. I know me and him have talked about this. Do you have a memorable loss or something in that sort, or a final that something that didn't go your way, right, that has stuck with you over time, or that you can always look back and be like, damn, I learned a lot from that, or I took a lot from that race, or that loss? Do you have any of those?
Yeah, I mean, I think for most of us, it's like every week. Like I read something one time that like the defining moment of, say, like a vacation. Matter if the vacation was awesome, if the vacation was awful, like the last day or the last, like even the trip home, like if that's good, it paints the vacation in a really good light. And if that's bad, if it's awesome vacation, you like kind of got a bad taste in your mouth about. Yeah. You think about that. If there's any truth to that in racing, like 95 times out of 100, we're going home after getting our asses kicked, right? So that just kind of that colors the whole thing in a different light. So, but I if there's one, like I'd go back. This was a points chase too, but it wasn't the NHRA stuff. So back in the day, when Danny Sons was running DragRaceResults.com, they did like a nationwide point series. Yeah, and it was a big deal. It was at that time, like it was a turnkey dragster to win the points. It's like $50,000 car, and at that time, I'm living out of a truck and racing for a living. Like 50 grand's not like a big deal. It's freaking life-changing money, right? And it was me and Rustin Mays, like back and forth for the last couple of months of the season. It's 50 grand this race car to win, nothing for second. You win like division championship and get a couple $1,000s or something. Sure. Well, we go to the last race of the year. It was at South Georgia. And however it lined up, it's like the last day, and it's early. It's 2nd round or something. And if I win that round, I win the championship. And you couldn't hook a better draw. Like I got this dude in Swamp Rat 12 over here that's going like 3/10 slower than me. I'm like, this is perfect, right? And you couldn't. I'm nervous as hell, but I'm like, I should beat this dude. And I just like I even add a couple out of the box. Like I'm set up fat, and it turns red, and I ain't even close. I'm like 9,000 red or something. Just completely hyped up. You know what I mean? At the edge of it, would have never put enough in to cover it. And it's like the most debilitating loss of my life. Like, I think it kind of fueled the fire for years to come, and I learned a lot about myself. But yeah, I don't think I shook that for weeks, man. That was awful. I hated it.
No, that's like I said, we talk about those ones that like stuck with you for a long, and it's funny that you can tell that story about that. Cause I think all of us as racers have those. We are like, damn, I know I should have won that race. Like, what is happening right now? I do love that. All right. Last question before we get into, like I said, some of the other stuff is, this is Bracket Racing Elite. Obviously, thisisbracketracing.com changed the game, right? From a racing perspective. Obviously, you know, from my perspective, the first person I ever knew to have a school was Scotty and Edmund, right? I remember seeing it on the side of the dragsters, right? Richardson Brothers Racing School, whatever. And then obviously you got like Frank Hawley, who teaches you just kind of how to let go of a button, right? There's no like, hey, we're going to teach you how to go down here and stop and do all stuff. You got Roy Hill, but like, this is bracket racing as a kid. When we first saw it's like, whoa, this is a game changer. And now this is bracket racing elite. And the reason I think that the reason I'm kind of like percolating about it and excited is because I think that like racing is something that's really cool to be shared, right? And I think that we as racers don't take that outlook very often. We're so self-minded, right? This is in reality, it's not. It is a team sport to a certain extent, but it is really not a team sport, right? It's me, everybody else, right? That's kind of how it goes. But this is like sharing the sport, helping people. I see people in the group, right? I'm obviously a member, like I said. I see people in the group that are like in Division 6 that race 5 times a year, and they take like so much away from it, right? What is it first off, just like, where did you get the idea for that part of it? Or even just like, this is bracketracing.com. Like, obviously you're racing for a living, but like, what does it mean to you right now and where you're at with it and how it's grown and all those things? Just talk a little bit about.
Yeah, I think like looking back, I think it came really natural for me because I don't think it was all that common, but I didn't know any different. Like growing up where I did, when I did, I had so many people that just kind of took me under their wing. When looking back, they didn't have to. You know what I mean? Like I would attribute some of it back to Scotty and Edmund. Like they moved away from Texas when I was real young, but like I made a couple runs in a junior dragster, come back, and Scotty told me what I did wrong. Like, ain't too many people could say that. You know what I mean? And then as I got older, it was the Hefflers and Tommy Phillips and Nathan Martin and the Lopez's. Like I could go on down the line, like all these people that kind of, because my dad raced, but I'm telling you, like I've told this story before too. You remember the old NHRA Today show? Like Bob Fry did a segment on like, how to bracket race, and he's running a rental car or something. He's like, so I made these 3 time runs, and then for my dial-in first round, I'm going to take the average of the time run. And I remember looking at my dad going, you can't take the average of your 3 time runs. That's crazy. You're going to break out. Like you take the fastest one, and you dial down a couple, and you do that. Like that's how I was raised racing. And that's all that we knew. And then you're watching these people that really got it, you know, probably way ahead of their time, and are kind of like, I absorbed some of it by osmosis, but so much of it was guys just pulling me aside going like, dude, this is what you got to do here. And so it helped me out a ton. So I always felt like the opportunity to kind of pay it forward. But how this is bracket racing came about, like, it's a funny story. Like, my buddy Blake Allen in Oklahoma, he's actually the guy that I got the Vega from too. So Blake's been intertwined in a lot of my life. He calls me, it's probably like 05, 06. So I'm young, you know, I'm what, 20, 23, 24 years old. And he's like, hey, you ever thought about putting on a school? I'm like, dude, there's nobody that's going to pay money to listen to me talk about racing. You know what I mean? Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He's like, I think there'd be some interest in it. Nah, I'm not comfortable. I've been thinking about people twice my age that race twice as long. I'm like, no. He calls me back a couple weeks later. He's like, I think this would work. I'm like, no. I put him off a couple of times. Finally, he calls and he's like, hey, I got 12 people. They've all paid me. You just got to come teach. I'm like, oh shit, okay. You know what I mean?
Promoter Blake Allen. Shout out to Blake Allen for changing drag racing forever.
So I go through this and I'm nervous as anything, right? And I am talking to some people that are twice my age, but those 2 days at Mocan Dragway, like it was the most awesome experience, because you realize like when people make that investment, like they're all in, like they legitimately want to hear what you have to say. And watching some of them, and again, like in some cases it was teaching an old dog new tricks, but watching them kind of transform over a course of a couple of days, like Tyler's done a couple with us, and like it's a cool feeling, right? And it just, the hook was sunk. Like that's what I was like, oh, this is what I want to do in some form. And it took on a number of different forms over the years, and when we figured out how to scale it online. But even so, I kind of pinched myself. Like I never would have dreamed, like we've tapped into a market that I didn't realize existed. So we have like 600 elite members. It's crazy.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Every time I go on there, I mean, look at the guy. There was a person who commented, Mark, I believe is his name right there, commented on Luke's post about the show and was like, I've learned so much from This is Bracket Racing Elite. Like, and that's kind of look, I've used it as a way since moving into my own shop here, you know, and having to work on my stuff and all those things. Like, I use it as an opportunity to learn. Like, hey, I just asked the group, hey, I'm lost, and I know someone in the group will help me, which is like, you just can't, like, I text Tyler all the time, but Tyler's not here. You can't, like, right? You know, he's not like.
And I don't know that much.
But you know
like,
what I'm saying.
I can keep myself out of trouble, but damn,
right.
I mean, like,
you know. But so, like, I use it as that, and that's how I take away from it, right? Like, from a mechanical standpoint, I'm not mechanically inclined as a lot of these guys are, right? And so it's great to be able to have those ideas to bounce off, and like, I've learned through that, and like, obviously, like, I don't get into the details about the finish line driving all the time because, like, I have my way, even though I'm like, I should focus more on that. Like, I take away, we do the practice tree thing, and we do all the stuff that you've put into it. Where do you think, where do you get the, obviously you have a great team of people that support this, right? Amanda, and you have Matt and Gage helping. You had Kevin at one point. You got Justin Lamb, right? Who might be he might be the best ever to drive a Cobalt in Division 7 at Las Vegas.
There you
I don't want to
You're
say it.
getting so good at narrowing things
I
down.
don't want to say anything crazy. So, but like your group, where do you get the ideas to continue to? Because, like you said, untapped market, 600 plus numbers is.
Sorry, you forgot about Jimmy DeFrank. But never mind. Continue your story.
You're damn it. I said Division 7 at Las Vegas. So, okay, first off, I did narrow
Still,
it down.
Jimmy DeFrank. Okay, continue.
Where do you get the ideas to like continually to stay creative and to keep the group growing? And where do you see it? Like, what's the next step for you, just to continue to grow, or do you see something bigger, or what's that look like?
I mean, honestly, it feeds itself. You know what I mean? Like, the ideas that Justin and myself and our guest instructors get, like, it's mainly from conversations with the racers week in and week out. You know what I mean? That maybe just looks at things in a little bit different light or a little bit different perspective, because ultimately, I mean, we're trying to do the same thing that we were doing 20, 30 years ago. But if you try to do it the way you did it then, it's probably not going to work out too well.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's a constantly evolving thing. And it's fun and it's challenging to think about it from so many different perspectives. And I think with Justin, like from a technical standpoint, and then the insights that our guys like Matt Dattis and Gage and Chris Whitfield, Mikey Sturgill are involved, and Mike Mann's on the tech side. Like, there's always a perspective. Like, I can't go through one that doesn't make me think about something that I hadn't thought about before. And I'm supposed to be the one kind of spirit in the thing, you know? Yeah.
Which I love that part of it too. I think that's the big takeaway. Is like I said, like, you have all these people that you've put in place. Like, think about, you've grown in reality, like a college. Like, you have this thing now where it's like, it is private education. If you really want to do this next level, like, yeah, you can go get a job here, or you can go to the next level and do this thing, or whatever it may be, trade, or however you want to look at it. But I just think it's, like I said, really great. So if you guys don't know, this Bracket Racing League, I think, when's your guys', you open twice a year for open enrollment, is that right?
Yeah, we won't do another enrollment until just after the first of the year, so it'll be a little while.
Yeah.
And then honestly, like, probably the biggest eye opener over the last few years, I guess it's like 2.5 years ago, we launched This Is Bracket Racing Junior.
Yeah.
And you talk about it's all the same stuff, right? It's the same game, but presenting it and packaging it in a way that, say, an 8, 9, 10-year-old can understand really challenges it to rethink and simplify all of it. And I think a lot of the fruits of that have benefited our elite members, because it's really easy to get way deep in the weeds. And some of the stuff,
you've got to put catfish on the 10-year-olds.
Look, son, what a time. If we're putting Jason Lynch out there to teach, that's what we should do. Flip the roles of the teachers, right? So Tyler's going to be the one teaching the adults, and then Catfish is going to be the one teaching the kids. That's really what I'd like to see. What an episode of that Freaky Friday would be, you know what I mean?
So much racing knowledge has come from Lynch. Like, it's crazy. It's presented in a whole different way, but man, that's a smart dude. And
you can collectively take all of it and put it under his golden rule, which is confidence. Like, he has all these theories that really are like smart people shit, but if you think, like, it's still in his head, it's just all making him feel like he can win more.
Yeah, the swagger effort. Yeah, that extra piece.
Maybe I shouldn't say this, but I know he doesn't give a damn, right? But this is the ultimate Lynchism. Okay, we were sitting up on the starting line watching the late rounds of the Million a couple weeks ago, and the semis go down, and he had picked Spradlin to win like 4 rounds before. He's like, that hillbilly from Alabama, that's the guy. You know, Lynch falling over drunk. They both win the semis. It's him and Jaden Lawler. And Lynch, like, the golf cart's holding him up, right? But he says something and I kind of laugh, but it's the way that he thinks, and there's something to it. I didn't even stay up to watch the final. I don't know exactly how it went. But Jason, just super matter of fact, he's like, man, you know what? That hard-headed hillbilly is going to make that rich kid stage first. We'll see what happens then. And he walked off, and I thought, I don't even know who staged first and final, if it had any impact, but I'm like,
it makes the most sense.
That the rest of us like, yeah. So
I love that.
He does that sometimes where he'll say something, and I look at him, I'm like, and I go to like ask him about it, but then I know I'm better not to know.
Yeah.
But like he just has his way of thinking about it, and his way of doing it is so different, and it works so good.
I love that. That's good. I do love Catfish. What a great guy in drag racing to have too. Another one of the legends. While we're talking about This Is Brag Racing Elite for the juniors, I would like there to be a junior dragster parent class where they have to come in and sit down for 8 hours and learn how to act appropriately at a racetrack. Some behavioral classes for some of these parents. Hey, this is how you bring them to the staging lanes. This is how byruns work at some tracks. This is how lane choice works at some tracks. Like these are some.
It's actually a great idea.
These are some of the variables. No, I'm being serious. Like this is some of the variables you could see. Because just imagine, like you put your kid in to the junior, right? Like, they put your kid in the junior elite, right? And you're teaching them all this stuff, and then they don't have the couth or the knowledge or the
nothing.
They don't have the experience. They're just coming in gung ho, like putting their kid in with their helmet on, putting them in before, helmet on outside the car, putting them in there, shoving them in there, and just, all right, you know what I mean?
That's how kids grow up to be like PJ and drive back in.
I love it. Oh, that's good. Well, like I said,
98% of us are awesome. Like, it's the 2% that give us a bad name.
No, I agree. Brian Whitworth's fixing to be one of them.
Oh, God.
I already know. I can just see it coming. I can already see it coming. But that's.
I have a question, I guess, regarding Elite. Is there ever a point, like when you talk about you have all the people that kind of help you with it and have a part in it, that you learn something from it all the time? With TV promotions or just drag racing in general, I'm starting to get better with it now, but there was a very long period where I was scared to death that everybody was going to wake up and realize that it had outgrown me. Like I didn't it was way beyond me. And like I felt like I was in a place I wasn't supposed to be, or that it had outgrown me to the point where I don't know what I was offering it. And I don't know if you ever reached that point.
No, I've definitely been there. Like I definitely think there's been some imposter syndrome over the years, right? Like who am I to lead this charge? But ultimately, like I think what I've realized is it just comes down to helping people, like one at a time, right? And you can't, sometimes as it's grown, sometimes it's hard to get a feel for that because obviously I'm not hands-on with everybody, but you come off of a live call or a phone call or an interaction, and when you get done with it, you're like, that individual is a better racer or has the tools to become a better racer tomorrow than they were yesterday. That's my job. And like that's a really cool feeling. So like I say, as it scales, sometimes that gets a little bit funky because you don't get that sense, but ultimately that's what it's all about.
And I guess that's kind of where I'm at. Cause like, I don't get that sense with, like the TV stuff. I've really felt that way. Cause it's like such a mass group, but like US 60 every Friday night, somebody, comes to the tower at the end and like either they'll ask me questions about driving a race car. They've seen me for the last 6 months. I ain't been in one, but but it's like something and then I'll see them use it on the racetrack, and it's like, okay, all right, I belong here. I'm doing something right.
I love that. I agree with that sentiment for both of you guys. I think, like I said, from having that, not like it's not polarizing in a negative, it's polarizing in a positive way of like your guys' personalities in the sport and the effect and the impact that you have on the sport goes a long way, which is why I think this is, like I said, and this is not, just so everyone's clear, this is not a paid advertisement. I have been a part of it. I've learned a ton. Like if you have the opportunity to join when open enrollment opens, definitely take a look at it and go to thisisbracketracing.com and check out all of Luke's stuff, because there's other information, the Pete Biondo playbook, all the stuff. Like there are things available. You don't have to be a part of the group. You can pay for classes and things that they already have. So
well, that's what I mean, for me, I don't even like hitting the practice route because I can't make it feel the same way. Now, however, every year for Christmas, my sisters, they get something to Elite because it is helpful on so many levels, we've talked. Like they need, they can make decent runs every now and then, but they need to learn how to just get in a race car and like the way they're supposed to think and the way you drive a race car. All simple stuff or just mental stuff that they've learned from it.
Yeah, well, all right. We've glazed Luke Bogacki enough. We've had enough. That's enough stroking Luke Bogacki's ego. Maybe he'll go out there and run 10:20 in Super Street this weekend. We'll all feel better about ourselves. I don't know if it'll be this weekend, but we might see him out there in Vega.
Actually, the best part of that story, PJ, is that ain't the first time. Like
it won't be the last, baby.
No, literally. It's not the first time the throttle stop didn't work. So, the fact that it never dawned on me that, hey, you might be going a second under the index. No.
Hey, look, brother. I've seen Hemi cars next to me about 2 car lengths behind and never check up, okay? So sometimes it just be like that, all right? You don't know what's going to happen each race. That's why we do this thing. That's why they don't race it on paper, right? That's why we have the ladder and you got to race them down the racetrack. I love it. All right, let's talk about NHRA points, man. Obviously, if you're not a points guy, I think that this still functionally relates to you. So don't turn off the show. If you're not an NHRA guy, it doesn't matter. This is pertinent to whatever you do. These type of scenarios and talking through these things is going to be very interesting. So we're going to break it down.
Well, yeah, and it's funny you say that because it is. I'm roughly about 13 days from my annual text from Will Holloman saying, "All right, it's the time of year where I want to know what's going on," and I got to send him a book of the points because he starts keeping up.
I love it. That's
every
year. And I'll tell you this. While NHRA on Fox does absolute dog shit coverage of sportsman racing, it's the look, I've said that I don't care. Everybody knows this. They do not care. That's okay. We're not the show. It doesn't matter. NHRA.TV does do a great job. I watch all the rounds. We keep up with it. We're checking in. So, if you have a chance, go out and watch this because the points battles we're going to talk about are getting interesting. Obviously, they've got first before we get into the actual point situations, let's talk about a few races left. Double divisional at St. Louis this weekend. The Tulsa finish, Dallas divisional, and Dallas national. There's another Dallas divisional, right? They're still doing that whole thing before the national?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Okay. Vegas, Pomona for the West Coast. Is that right?
Yeah.
And one other one in Virginia? Is there a divisional in Virginia?
I think there's a double in Rockingham.
Double in Rockingham.
Cecil yet on the calendar. But to your point, whatever, I think there's if you count Tulsa as a half, there's 7.5 points meets and 3 nationals left.
Okay.
Over half of those will be completed in the next week and a half between just St. Louis and Dallas. That's the bulk of what's left.
Yeah, so I'm waiving all first round.
So I can't start now.
I'm waiving all of mine, and I'm going to get 7 cleans. Start over completely. Okay. So 7 races. Yeah, like you said, it's going to round out. Like I said, it's going to happen pretty quickly. The double divisional, I think a lot of things are going to shape up at St. Louis. St. Louis is a tough divisional, too, because it's 4, 5, 3, and sometimes the guys from 2 and 1. You'll see some 7 or 6s.
It's on the way. Hey, baby, if you're gonna believe in yourself, you might as well be on the road to Las Vegas. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take your truck, my trailer, and we're just gonna keep on driving west after.
Whatever. I don't care.
All right, let's break it down in stock eliminator. We're looking at. I think They have been updated, except from Bakersfield, right? I know we talked a little bit about Bakersfield. Hasn't been updated, but Bubba Link still winning. He's got 6-12. He's got 5 national claims, 6 divisional claims, and he is kind of doing. He's above by 22 on John Gray. John Gray has the same amount of claims left, or the same amount of claims, I should say, 5 and 6. Same with Hidalgo Jr., right? Hidalgo Jr. is 5 and 6 as well, and he's got 569. What does it look like? Who's going to catch him? What do you think Bubba has to do to continue off the rest of the year? We'll start with you, Luke. What are your thoughts on what does Bubba have to do and who can catch him?
Man, stock is wide open. I think Bubba's is the favorite, but I don't know who's going to win this thing. If I was Bubba, I wouldn't feel good unless he could win another race. I'm not going to say that Bubba won't win. 6-12 won't win, right? And that's what he's got now. I'm not sure. 6:30 would look pretty good on paper, but I just think something crazy is going to happen. I'm going to say that it's going to take 6:50 to win it, but there's literally, it could come from a dozen or 2 dozen guys that could get there. I don't know who it'd be. It's if you're a betting man, I just have a really hard time over the course of the last 5 years betting against Cooter.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's got a tough road to hoe, and it's all going to happen at Dallas. Like all three of his remaining races, it's going to be the Tulsa finish, the Dallas Divisional, and the Dallas National. That's a place where he traditionally does pretty well, but that's everywhere he goes, right? On paper, he does not have the best shot, but he's Jimmy freaking Hidalgo. But again, like there's probably a dozen guys that are legitimately thinking like, it could be me, and it could be any of them.
I will say, looking at Cooter's scorecard, 105, 105, 105. Like 3 wins in stock. Obviously, he's one of the best to do it in stock and super stock at this time, right? I mean, just mows him down. But then, like, his other runs are 50, 40, 51, 51. Like, he had tough go. Like, he either got hammered early or he won the race.
And he's going to be stuck with them, right? Like, at least a couple of them. You know, that's kind of the problem. And I mean, he won 3 races. It's funny because 2 years ago, I won 3 races, and I was 7 rounds behind the guy that won the fucking, world. He won 6. But I don't think he ever bet against Jimmy Hidalgo. There's not a guy who can take 2 cars to the racetrack and have a better chance of winning both classes ever, I don't think. Justin can do it sometimes, but Cooter's going to be in 4th round in both cars, just every time he goes to the racetrack.
So do you have? So you're both going Cooter, maybe potentially as a dark horse behind.
I do I think Strick still had like a 1st rounder and a 3rd rounder to throw out. Like Stock's the class 2 where 612 will not win and 650 might win, but like somebody always wins a race late that like jumps it to 660-ish or something. And Strickland's going to Rockingham, I'm sure, with a chance to do that.
Yeah.
And if he was to win and have another really good race, you could jump that 70 to 80 points. But really it's, Bubba, Cooter, Strick, like he said, there's 3 or 4 other guys probably.
Yeah, let's break it down for everybody too. So the amount of it's your best, just point scenario, how you collect points is your best 3 national or best 3 nationals, best 5 divisionals.
Your first 6,
out of your first 6.
And 8.
Okay, so out of your first 6 nationals and out of your first 8. So in reality, Bubba is 5 and 6, so he still has 1 more national and 2 more divisionals.
Yep. And I'm sure he's probably going to Cecil.
Yeah.
And I'd say he's going to I guess he's going to find his way to Cecil and then
so I don't know if he'd have to go to Dallas for the national to get another national. His nationals that he would have to better are 105, 73 and 73. So
oof.
Yeah, divisionals though, he can better a 40 and he could better a 40. 61 is his next other divisional. So still gets a clean national potentially, but he'd have to better 73. Like he'd have to run her up, right? So he's only getting 11 points. So probably not worried about that. Trying to better the 40 divisional and maybe the 61 divisional.
He might go to Rockingham then, so he can just get both divisionals and be done.
Yeah. So we'll see kind of how that breaks out. Okay. Moving along as we'll look into super stock. Cooter, as we just mentioned, right? Like, how much more can we talk about Cooter? 5 and 6 are his claims currently. He's got 656 in super stock. Kevin Helms is a cool 570 behind him with 5 and 5. Tyler, I'll go to you, man. Obviously, when I was looking at it, Jason DeForest and Tyler Wodarczyk were behind. This is before, obviously, Kevin Helms did damage this past weekend, but. What's your thoughts about Cooter, chances to win, and who's your dark horse?
I was just looking at Wodarczyk, and I got a lot of faith in him, but to me, there's 3 guys in here that just stand out. Cooter, Pete is in there at 4th if he wants to go do something. I don't know if he will.
Yeah, I don't know because he blew that thing up again, right, at Indy.
Right, but he was running. I think he just switched cars, and then Justin, because Justin doesn't look as great now because of Bakersfield, but it's hard to count him out going with having 2 or 3 races left and going to Vegas for all of them.
Oh, Walt with a great feedback. Thank you, Walt. Bubba's still in at the Virginia Divisional. So I didn't know that I forgot they haven't finished the Virginia Divisional. Okay.
The second one, right?
Yeah, the second one. Okay. So that plays into a couple things of these as we move forward. Okay. So, my thing is, so the reason and before we go to you, Luke, Kevin Helms last week, right? He's driving the Cool Fish for Doug Duell, which is potentially the coolest non-modified car at this point, right? That it's got that FGT motor in it, which is super sick, that drag pack but his national, so he's got 3 wins, a semi, and then he's bettering 2 first rounds. Yeah, 2 first rounds in divisionals. So
he's going to go to Rockingham, I would assume.
Well, I'll probably just run St. Louis, right?
Oh, yeah, he
the
will.
The car's already there. Just run St. Louis.
Kevin Helms isn't going to go too far out of his way.
He's already there, right?
I don't think.
Yeah, okay.
I just don't think Kevin Helms cares
enough. Yeah, he does like to fish. He told me when I ran into him at Bradenton and caught up with him after a year or two. It's been a while. He said, "Yeah, man, just go out there and fish. Hang out, sell houses, fish." So, what about you, Luke? Man, what are your thoughts on Superstock? Obviously, like I said, Cooter was 656 and Kevin right behind him. But what are your thoughts on Cooter's chances and anybody in the dark horses behind him, or what scenarios do you like back there?
Fancy microphone died. You see me all right?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I was talking earlier and I felt like you were talking over me. I don't think it was coming through, so I'm good. I think this is the one I think Cooter is definitely the favorite because he's at like 656 and he's not going to stay at 656. Right? He's got the 3 races left. He's still in at Tulsa, and I think his next win might earn points. I expect him to go over 700. That's the faith that I've got in Cooter. And traditionally, Cooter's the only person that's ever scored 700 and not won the championship. He did it in stock last year. So traditionally, that is a sure thing. I'm not so sure this year, kind of to Tyler's point. I think this is a 3-horse race, but it is 3 thoroughbreds. We're talking Cooter, 2-time national champion, reigning world champion. Justin, 5-time national champion, and Helms, 4-time national champion, right? So you got 11 national championships between them. And to Tyler's point, like, Justin's performance in Bakersfield doesn't help us score a ton. I think he lost 3rd round in both races. So that's not updated, but he's at like 620 right now. Okay. Still with some races to go. I don't think it's crazy to think that 2 of those 3 crest 700. It would be wild if Cooter's involved in the 2 chases that both go over 700 and he's one of them both times. Like I say, if I was laying odds, I think he's the favorite, but I'm probably more intrigued to watch the Superstock battle than any, just because of the quality of those 3. Yeah. And then if you want to throw Dagnolo in there, if he's going to travel, make it 4. You couldn't. Yeah. That's 4 bad dudes. Yeah.
Pete's got it's a tall order, but as a guy that could do it for sure.
I'll say this. Todd France is bettering divisional wise a first round and a national. He's bettering a first round. Clean, right? Obviously, he's only at 3. So, he's only at 3 and 5, so he's got he can run this bettering, and then Dallas, all that stuff. Potentially, he's got 472. So he could go up to just off of that. He could go, and that's what his score is, right? With nothing off right now, so 472 is everything. Nothing's thrown away. So you better.
Here's the scary part, though. Here's the scary part, PJ. He got to go to a lot of races.
Yeah, for sure.
And if he wins 2 of them, he's at 650. I do think.
Oh, yeah, okay. I see what you're saying.
He's just got a lot of work to do from 470. I think.
Yeah, I got
especially with the guys in front of it.
Yeah,
but I do think Todd could do it.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of guys, like I said, I think Superstock is the most wide open, but also like the most glaring. Like for a long time, we thought for sure Santangelo was going to close it. Like it was going to be over. Santangelo was going to win both. He started off so hot, had a good run. And then just what a wild turn of events for my guy, Joey Shaker. He gets tossed at Maple Grove after runner-up. And it's so wild, the whole thing. So, Superstock is one to watch, obviously near and dear to our hearts. We're very excited to watch it. But
before we move on, I told you guys I did way too much homework on.
Let's hear it.
This is right up Tyler's alley. But I got some Superstock trivia for you.
I'm in. I love this.
All right. Let's say that what I say is the favorite holds true. If Cooter wins the world championship, that would be back-to-back Superstock world championships if he holds on. In that particular category, that has happened 3 times. Cooter would be the 4th. Can you name the other 3 Superstock drivers to win back-to-back national championships?
Damn, I don't know that I cannot. Justin did it once, right?
Justin did it once, yep. I'll give you a hint. One of the others didn't. He went back to back to back.
Holy shit.
What a flex. Oh, God.
What years was it?
Hold on. Early 90s.
Oof. Oof.
Is one of
Yeah,
them?
I'm not
Is one
gonna
of
get
them
that
Peter
one.
or no?
No,
No,
never
he-
went back to back.
Oh, never went
No.
back to back.
Oh, I'm gonna assume that one of them would have to be damn early '90s. I couldn't even tell you. Was it a '90 class back then?
Was it a what?
Was it a '90 class or
No,
was
he's
it
saying in super stock.
Oh,
alone.
in super stock.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
they were all in
super
shit. No,
Is it
not a clue.
Fletcher?
No, he
No,
never.
not
he
Fletcher.
never
Another
went
good
through.
guess.
Oh wow,
Shit.
dang.
1992, 1993, 1994 won Greg Stanfield.
I didn't know he won.
That
three.
is sick. Okay.
I knew he had won one.
And if we got to turn the clock way back to the first 2 years that they actually took national
Oh,
points in the
see.
traditional sense,
Yes.
right? It used to be like a runoff,
that-
right?
That was like early '80s or late '70s or something.
Yeah, 82, 83. Did you have it? I don't know, said that.
No, Jeff won it. Jeff won in '83, but I don't think he won in '82.
Keith Lynch, back to back.
Keith Lynch. Yes.
Oh my gosh, incredible.
Yes.
That's cool. Man, I don't know if anybody. Oh, so Walt did get Stanfield. He did get the Stanfield one. Walt, you just
Yep.
missed the other two. That's impressive. I love that trivia. See, my guy Luke comes prepared. He gets it.
That is cool.
My guy gets it.
I know what it's like to try to do this every week, so I'm going to do my part.
Now,
Take
we-
a little burden off you
We
guys.
got Tyler warmed up last week. He's back in a groove now, baby. You know,
Yeah, I was.
he's back.
Yeah,
in
last week was good.
He's back
You
in
done
the
set
groove.
me off down the. You throw back in the trailer with your helmet on. It just
We're
set me off.
fired up. Let's talk a little bit about Luke's World Championships. First off, do you call them national championships or world championships?
I think I typically refer to them as world championships, but national championships is actually much more accurate.
Yeah, but world championships is much cooler.
It does sound good.
Champion
Yeah, it's
of
just
the
better.
world.
It's just better.
On the world.
Hey,
Yeah, exactly.
listen,
On the
Stock
world.
Eliminator has people from Sweden enter it every now and then, so I'm calling
That's
it a
right.
world
There
championship.
you go. World counts. Which one of your titles means the most to you?
I mean, the coolest was probably the second one. See, the thing is, on my 3 national championships, none of them was all that dramatic. Like,
Right.
it was over in September.
Yeah.
Right? Every time that I've been close, I haven't won.
Yeah.
I've been close a lot and finished second, third
Sure.
a bunch. But the 3 that I won, it never like came down to the last race, the last few races. In 14, my first Super Gas Championship, Trevor Larson and I kind of went head to head for a while, and he ended up like, bless his heart, I think he had like 680, but I had like 730. You know what I mean? Like it ended up right. But for a while, like we're going like every one of us is winning every week, so that was
Yeah.
cool for a while. And then I mean, it was, until I put a little bit of distance there late in the year, but no, I definitely have more poignant like late season memories from the ones that didn't go my way.
Yeah. Okay. Which one of your titles was the hardest throughout the year? Did you feel like, now obviously, like you said, they didn't really come down to dramatic, but like, which one was the hardest did you feel like to achieve? The first one? Like, because I always feel like that's what you hear a lot, right? Oh, the first one's always, that's what Tyler always tells me about nationals. Like, yeah, the first one's the hardest. The second one's pretty hard too, but the first one's like the hardest to get that first one. But what is it like from a national championship? It's even a larger scale. Which was the hardest?
I don't know, man. They're all hard. Like I guess the first one because you got that kind of chip on your shoulder and like wondering, is it ever actually going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So I'd probably say that, but none of them.
None of them
it's-
easy. I got you. That's
No,
fair.
no, there's sleepless nights. Even though, like I said, mine were over in like September. Like
Yeah.
I'm looking at it in August. Going, God, I don't know if this is going to come together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just can't. And it's funny how I think Tyler could probably attest to this. Like you would like to think that you got enough going your way in life that like it just be this other thing going on the side. I'm telling you, it is so all encompassing.
It
Like
takes, it has to be.
I didn't even want to admit that last year because I'm like, I'm to the point. I've done this so many times. This shouldn't. I don't want to say it shouldn't be a big deal, but it should not be all that I can think about and function about. And it's literally all I can think about. It's
Damn.
kind of embarrassing to say, but
That's-
yeah, 100%.
That's why we love this shit. I mean, I don't think people understand like that feeling, right? Like I never even been close. Okay, so like, but I feel it like in my core, right? And Tyler, you can, like you said, I mean, what's from your perspective the year you were close, right? What was the hardest part about that for you?
Well, my deal is like both times that I've had outside chances or like that time that I had a really good chance, I never have a good middle of the year. So like, it's pretty much by the time you get to September, you're like, this is stupid. And I leave the house having to win,
Yeah.
You know, it's just I put myself in a spot where I got to win. And both times I went to St. Louis and won a race. And then, you know, this time I won the national. And then you get to looking at it, and Kyle Rizzoli had 670 in May. So, like, you don't ever really get the chance to feel like you're doing something.
Yeah.
You're always behind. So, and that's kind of the way both of the chances that I had, like somebody ran up pretty early and did something, and you've got a mediocre year that you're trying to show people that you're doing good with. It's tough. But so I don't know. I've never really got to experience a different feeling than that.
Sure.
But it is something that, like, it's still every day. I don't care. Like right now, I mean, until I didn't do it at all this year, but last year in Super Comp, the last race I attended was like March 28th.
Yeah.
And until September 14th, I could tell you what I had to do to win the world championship.
Yeah.
Like,
man, I'm telling you, that is all encompassing. And I think that's I'm going to ask two last questions about the world championships. Like, the ones that you didn't win, Luke, which one eats at you? Is it the Ray one, obviously, but that was such a cool moment, and like, oh, but then, you know, it takes that, or like, what's one of the ones that got away from you? Not even finished second, but just like one of the ones that got away from you that eats away at you the most.
I mean, in every one of them, you can go back, like, you got the whole season, right? So you lost like 10, 12 times. You go back through every round and be like, well, I could have, should have, would have. The one that probably was like the most humbling was, I guess I was 22. I'd won the championship in gas in 21. And in 22, it ended up, that was the year that Bob Locke's moonshot, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, it was me and Unruh and Bob. And Unruh actually passed me. I had the lead after the St. Louis races, like, are coming up. And then Unruh had to win Dallas to pass me. He did. And then Bob had to make the final at Pomona for me to not even get second and get the $5,000. Like, I couldn't do that, right? But at the same time, I was like, it cost me $5,000, and I was cheering for Locke. Like, I think that's awesome. Like, just what. But the reason I say that year's poignant is because at St. Louis, which was my last race at the double divisional, in the first divisional, I lost to Phil, like 5th or 6th round. And in the second divisional, I lost to Bob in the final. So, like, I completely had it all in my own hands and couldn't get either one of them done. Right?
Oh, that was,
I didn't
that's
know that.
That's what's okay about, like, when a couple of years ago, like, I had Rizzoli second round, and if he beat me, I was done. And if I beat him, I still had to win the race. But, like, he was in a corner at that point after the year he'd had. And it was like, I lost, and it was fine. I lost it. It was all good.
Yeah, at least it's on you at that point.
Humbling because you see the ladder and you're like, oh, that's exactly what I want, right?
Yeah.
The weekend's over. It's like, is that really what you wanted, kid?
Yeah, probably not. Yeah.
It's funny how life will come and smack you around a little bit. You know what I mean? I get it. That makes sense. All right, we're going to move on to Super Comp before I ask that last question. Super Comp, obviously another one that you guys, you know, near and dear to our hearts here. Chris Whitfield leading with now 623. He is out of divisionals, and he's got 4 nationals.
He's got one left, right?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you said he waived. I apologize. Waived. Yeah. So
this is where it gets
that's where it gets a little confusing. So Chris Whitfield at 623. So let's call it 4 and 7. Who do you like here, Luke? And obviously, what do you like? Do you like Chris's chances? Who else do you like in the pack? Or not necessarily like, but before we actually, let me say this. Shout out to Jordan Pratt, by the way. I forgot to mention him during this bracket race in Elite. He has been doing great job, and he's number 10.
I was about to say.
He's number 10 in points, and I forgot to shout out my guy Jordan. I love Jordan. Me and him are close. I like him. So shout out to Jordan at number 10. I don't know if he has a chance. He does because he got 3 and 6. I feel like he has an opportunity to make some damage. But Chris Whitfield leading. I didn't put him on the list here because I was looking through originally the Jeff Chaney. I was like, oh, he looks like he's got a lot of claims left. He could have to go to a lot of races. But what about you? What say you with Chris Whitfield and the rest of the field in Super Comp?
I think Chris will win his first world championship. It's not near as comfortable as I thought it would be 4 months ago. And I think we can all kind of nod ahead at that, right?
Yeah.
So
we thought he was running away with it.
He was.
Just to put this in perspective, he goes, his numbers go 62, 105, 94, 105, 94. This is in May, right? This is in May. Just absolute hammer.
He spent the 3 weeks, right? Because the Springfield Million was there as well. But the double divisional and the national at Vegas, he lost 1 round he was 20-1, right? Like at that point, it's pretty well over. It's April.
Yeah.
Well, he goes to the same set of races at Brainerd in August, 2 divisionals and a national.
Doesn't win
Didn't run a
around.
win light.
Yeah.
And kind of to your earlier point, Tyler, like that's the thing about a season-long points championship is it's just so hard to string it together from March through November, right? Like there's the ebb and flow of it. There's people that start great, or finish great, or have a good middle. Like it's really hard to sustain it. And especially, I think, in Chris's position where it feels like a foregone conclusion in May, like those win lights get really hard when you got those expectations.
Especially when you sit on them between May and August.
Right. So, Chris, he did improve at the National last week. I think.
Just barely. Yeah, he got 51 there, so he bettered a 30.
I'm the one that's going to say, like, for him, where he did go from May to August and then lost 3 rounds in a row, like seeing his points total go up will take the pressure off, I think, or just seeing that move is like, oh, okay, we're good. We're back in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, 623 probably shouldn't win. It might, looking at the field. Like, I think like the main contenders look to be Whitfield, Sherman Adcock, Jason Kenny.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty confident one of those 3 will win a race that counts. And whoever that is going to win the championship.
So I'm a Chris. I like Chris. Chris is an awesome dude. But Sherman Adcock, you want me to pick one? Sure.
Big Sherm. Yeah.
He's going to win one of the races at Rockingham. He's going to go to like 640 something, and then he's going to have 640. If he wins or not, I don't know.
I mean, Charlotte hurt. I assume he hurt something like motor-wise. Like
he
had to play
did. Yeah, he did. He didn't get to stage first round. He dropped a lifter.
Yeah, so like say it all come down to Rockingham. But if you told me that Sherman Adcock's going to go win one of those races at Rockingham, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan, just the reason I bring him up at 10th, and like I said, I try to keep it in that top 10 because it's hard when you get down there. Of course, there's guys that have a bunch of claims open, but Jordan right now in divisionals, he's at 3-6, so he's going to be at St. Louis double here. He's bettering a 40, a 50. Yeah, 40 and a 50.
Second, a third rounder.
Yeah, second. So like could potentially go up pretty good, but like you said, it takes so much. And I think he's the all-star in something, right? In maybe Super Street or something.
Yeah, no, in Super Comp. So
Super
and
Comp,
I mean,
okay.
Jordan's had a tremendous couple of years.
Yeah.
And he has not won any place more than St. Louis and Dallas.
Yeah,
and he's
exactly.
St. Louis and Dallas. So if you're looking for a dark horse, like
potentially.
Jordan Pratt, Jeff Chaney could be another one that if he got hot, and he's certainly capable of getting hot.
Yeah.
I'll just simplify it. I said one of those 3, Jason Kenny, Sherman Adcock, Chris Whitfield, will win a race. If one of those 3 wins a race, that will be the champion.
Sure.
If none of them win a race, it's wide
open.
open. It could be a Jordan Pratt or a Jeff Painter. Somebody will shoot up there and make a run if 620, 630 is the bar.
Yeah, Chaney lost second round, so he didn't better. But his nationals that he's trying to shoot for, he can better a 40 and a 51 in nationals. So he's potentially, he's got some room there. In divisionals, he can only better he can better a 30 in divisionals. Everything else is 94, 61, 105, and 105. So pretty tough there for him. But interesting approach. What do you think before we go into Super Gas? What do you equate the run of a points championship over a long year? Is there anything that you equate that to outside of drag racing? Like I equate a lot of things to wrestling, right? The promos. I'm like, oh, this is very similar to wrestling, but like the season long thing that we have in drag racing, is there anything that you can equate it to, or that you look at it, it's like, this is similar feeling, or what I bet it feels like? It may be another sport or anything like that, or how do you equate that?
That's a good question. I haven't thought about it. Like,
yeah, sorry I threw that curveball at you. I didn't put that in the notes.
I mean, this might not be a good apples to apples, but because obviously when the season starts, there's way more potential players.
Yeah.
But what do you think about comparing it to like an election, like a presidential election that's a year-long thing, right? And the tides go back and forth so much, and like it seems like the biggest thing in the world in that moment. When you zoom out, you're like, oh, that was just a little blip on the radar. Like,
right.
That'd probably be the best correlation I could draw.
I think it's like, I always equate it to, because, Tyler, you were talking about, oh man, sitting during the middle of May and between May and August, not making a run. Like I equate that a lot to baseball, and like baseball's a long season, man. You look at the Tigers, right? They were running away with it. And then next thing you know, they're tied with the Guardians. And you're just like, wait, how did we get here? Wait a second. The Tigers had like a 12-game lead. Like, what are we doing? And I think of it similar to that because sometimes it's out of your control, right? It's not it's not March Madness, you know?
Opposite reasons because baseball has so many games.
1,000%, yeah.
But you're right. It's the same thing, but like for the totally opposite reasons.
Yeah.
You know, the NHRA, you just don't. You think of it like as you're doing it, it feels like it's never going to end. And then at the end of the year, you're like, it's 14 freaking races. It's not that big. It's just not that many. You know, versus a ton. It can just change so quickly.
I would have equated it to golf, but the FedEx point standings don't make any sense, and somehow Tommy Fleetwood won. So like, I couldn't even equate it to golf because I didn't. I was like, what? This doesn't make any sense. And I don't have any fishing. You know, things.
I don't know how fantasy works.
Oh, well, there you go. All right, we'll move into Super Gas, our last contest here. Looking at it, shout out to JJ Brock. I got to tell this story. I don't know if JJ listens to the show or JJ knows me at all. We're at Charlotte. I watched, I don't know if he was driving or his dad was driving. They made like a low-key 25-point turn to park in this one spot. I was like, dude, no one else is coming. Y'all park that sumbitch sideways. Nobody cares. I promise you. Nobody else is coming in the gate, my guy. They backed up their motorhome and drove it to get straight. I'm not kidding you, 20 times. I felt so. I was like, I'm like, what are we? I was like, and then they ended up winning the race, and it was awesome. But so shout out to JJ Brock right now. He is leading the world by 1 point over Keith Mayers, which is crazy, right? Keith's in the Porsche, right? Isn't that what that thing is? I think it's a Porsche.
I think so.
Or it's an Alfa Romeo, something like that. And then so JJ Brock's got 584. Keith Mayers has 583. Nathan Prose has 581. So this is the closest at the top with that situation. And then Phil Unruh. Is it Unruh or Unruh?
Listen, if I'm reading this right, Phil Unruh is at 580. So,
well, he's got 550 according to my sheet here.
Well, but two nationals, right? Yeah. So he stages first round. He's at 580.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes. Stages it.
I just making sure I was reading that right.
1,000%. Yeah. So he's got a clean national no matter what. Goes to 580. You're talking about 4 people in 4 spots that are within 4 points of each other. That's like nutty to me. I was like, and Super Gas is always one of those classes where it's either someone has something crazy or it's like super close because the parity sometimes I think is a little bit more. I don't think people run away with it as much. So obviously, Luke, being a Super Gas world champion, what are you looking at right now? Like, what's this look like to you from a Super Gas perspective?
So for 3 consecutive years, the Super Comp National Championship has been decided at Pomona. In 2 of those years, it was decided in the final round at Pomona.
You're talking about swinging for it, baby. Bottom of the 9th.
I have a feeling we're headed down that path again. So just to rehash, like 3 years ago was the Bob Locke moonshot, right?
Yep.
Has to win the race, don't overtake Phil Unruh.
Wasn't even going. Yep.
Does it, right? The following year was the year that Sherman put this massive score up early. Nobody's going to catch him. And Trevor Larson starts chipping away, and finally overtakes him at Pomona. And then last year, maybe the most exciting of all of them, like Valtorres not only has to win the race to win the championship, the way the ladder falls, he's got to beat everybody else that has a chance.
Crazy run. Dude, absolute nutty run by Valtorres.
Yeah, and Mayers was part of that too, right? So if we zoom out to start this year, I'll be completely honest, like this is as up until you said, hey, come on with us to dissect the points, like I have been checked out from NHRA Points.
That's fair.
A week ago. And I wanted to dedicate my national dragster column to it. So I needed to do the work anyway, and this was an excuse to do it.
Look at me helping NHRA. That's all I'm just a man of the people.
But I had just assumed, because when I glanced at it in July, I'm like, oh, we pissed Mayers off last year. Look at him. Like he was doing what Chris Whitfield did.
Yep.
Except he took it to another extreme. Like I think I looked at it the other day. It's something crazy.
Bro, it's like 105. He goes 105, 52. Yeah, 105, 52, 30, 95, 105, 62, 84. Those are his first. That's from May to July. You're talking about an 8-week run, buddy. By God Almighty.
But what about since?
And then he's thrown down nothing but first round and second round losses.
Right. So now he's just got 1 race left, and I think at this point it's safe to say like he's got to win it to have to feel like he could
PJ, this is This is where you enter the scene from Rocky where he's in the corner all bloodied up and they're putting a sponge on him.
Yeah.
It's time to come back, buddy. It's like the 8th round.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because he can only better a divisional, right? And he can his divisional, he'll have to
That's
take
a
a
30,
40.
right?
No, he'll have to take a 40 at a divisional,
I'm
but he
looking at
can
the
better
wrong-
a 40. So like
Yes.
if he wins the race, you're talking about 64 points on top of that. That's 647. Pretty good number, right?
Yeah, you do that, I think you'd feel good about it. Anything short of it, like I think I'm with Tyler. Like with what he's got left, I think
Yeah.
Unruh in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Nathan Prose has got a good shot. Everybody that you named has a good shot. The one that you didn't name, because it doesn't populate yet, because he won Bakersfield last week, and that doesn't show up on the point sheet. Your reigning world champion won, and I think quartered the other race at Bakersfield.
Okay.
And all of a sudden now Val Torres is a real threat again. So you just like I'll
Yeah.
come back to where I started here. The last 3 years, this has been decided at Pomona, and I don't want to take anything away from JJ Brock or
Sure.
Jason Kenny or Nathan
Yeah.
Prose or Keith Mayers. But when we get to Pomona, the way that this is shaken out, Val Torres and Phil Unruh will still claim Pomona.
Yeah.
And whether or not they're leading coming in there, it is hard to envision a scenario where they will not have a shot.
Yeah.
It would not surprise me at all if we're going into the semis at Pomona and this thing's still in doubt with one of those or both of those guys being players. Like,
Yeah.
So by my rough math, Val has like 580 something right there with him. Is that
he's
right?
right in there close. Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
hold on, I could tell you exactly, but I think he's at like 560, 570. Yeah.
Okay.
Races
Yeah.
like that.
JJ
Yeah.
Brock's got 2 divisionals, right? Obviously, he'll probably run one of those out there. But he can bet- he can-
Everybody's max bet is still looking like 640, 650.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Except for
You know?
Except for
Except for
Unruh,
under, yes.
Yeah. Damn. Interesting approach how it always kind of boils down, man. It starts to get a little tight down there, which is cool, man. That's why that's where I talk about the sportsman thing that I don't think comes into the conversation during the Fox stuff. I just think if they took a little bit of an approach to explain that, and I understand we're close to it. I'm not saying that fans aren't close to it. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of us, right? There are a lot of racers out there who are actively watching. Like, they could draw up that a little bit during some of these. I'm not saying they got to do it all year, but, like, it would be nice to just, like, oh, they show this guy is going to win. He's in the final of St. Louis, and this could potentially put him at number 1. And I understand, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't see how that doesn't draw a little bit of, dramatization.
You talked earlier, PJ, about how good a job NHRA TV has done with that in the past.
Yeah.
I hope that continues without Allen.
Yeah.
Because, like, he's always been on top of it.
1,000%.
Like, I always said that's the hardest thing about rolling into, like, Vegas and Pomona at the end of the year
Yeah.
is, A, everybody that's paying attention knows what you got to do.
Yep.
But in case they forgot,
Yeah.
Allen knew what you had to do, and he broadcast the shit out of it. Like, I remember being shut off in the water, like 2 rounds away from the national championship, and he's telling everybody, I'm 2 rounds away from the national championship.
Right.
It's just, like, sitting there in the moment being that guy, like, that is a whole different electricity,
1,000%.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that we just play up on that a little bit, adds to that, like, oh shit, this matters. You know what I mean? Like, these rounds matter. And I'm not saying they have to show the whole rounds. I'm just saying, like, some of that stuff could be added dramatization for them, like a little bit of storyline behind those things. And
you know what would be cool? This would be like a cool time of the year for them to do like for a social media thing, to be at Rockingham or at St. Louis for the double or something.
Sure. Yeah, having a little bit different approach there, like as they kind of go through it. Very similar to what they do during baseball, right? Like, they're like, oh, we've got the clubhouse here. These guys are off. We're trying to see if this team wins. All of that stuff. Because hockey does the same thing. Basketball, very similar, when they go through that. Okay, those are the point standings right now. Like I said, I just have one more question, then I'm going to let you ask us some stuff. What do you think it takes? Obviously, you're stepped away from it now for a year. You're not doing the NHRA points, right? And so you've taken a little bit of a step back. What do you think it takes to win a world championship? Obviously, you've done it, so you know what it takes. But I'm like putting it into words for people listening who might not, you know what I mean, who maybe never grasped it or never really thought that much about. Look, I think about this. I don't know that I have the ability in not necessarily the race car. I do believe I have the ability in the race car. The outside ability, the other stuff that plays into it. But what do you think it takes to win a world title in NHRA, or even next year, hopefully IHRA comes back and they do that? Like, what does it take realistically to win a world title in one of these classes?
I think the biggest thing that comes to mind for me is just commitment. Like, I think you have to commit to it. Not necessarily, like Sherman always talks about, like, you got to make your 6 and 8, right? And I'm not one that, like, if I'd fall flat on my face for the first 3 months, like, I ain't going to 6 and 8. Like, I got other shit that I could do. But you always got to have a path to get to 6 to 8, 6 and 8. If you start the season and be like, okay, I'm definitely going to these 5, 6, 8 races, and then we'll see where it goes. But leave enough room on the calendar that it's logistically reasonable to make the rest of it, right?
Sure.
And then taking that commitment a step further is like, you got to have competitive stuff, right? And there's not a class in NHRA today that you can just immediately hop in and I think be competitive. Like, maybe super comp, but everybody has the same stuff, so the's like no advantage to be had there.
Yeah, that's why it's 30 points down from everything every year.
Right.
Just everybody's beating on each other.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a commitment, like in terms of mindset, but also in the resources to have good stuff and the willingness to go figure it out when it's not good, and just, I think we can all attest to this. Like, the commitment end of it is not chasing the shiny object, because there's plenty of times, even my championship season, like, I drove past a 50 grander to go to a points meet. It's freaking stupid. But if that's the goal, then that's what you do, and you don't think possible.
Yeah, that makes sense. Tyler, what about you, man? Obviously, having been close, and me and you talk about this, obviously, like, ad nauseum, but what do you think it takes from your perspective that you're maybe missing, right? Like, I can tell you, from my perspective, I'm missing the ability to make I don't know if it's ability as much as it is the drive. I'm getting more of it. I had this conversation with Matt over the weekend. That drive to, like, make my stuff better. I've always been the, like, you know what? My car is what it is. I'll bring myself to the car. That's how I grew up bracket racing. Like, I'm very blessed that my dad built me very good race cars, right? Or we bought good, like, he made sure my stuff was good and I did the rest, right? But I brought myself to the car. Now, I'm in super stock specifically, like, it's like, all right, I need to bring this thing a little bit closer to me, because, like, I'm pretty consistent at what I'm doing. How do I bring it a little bit better to make it better than the alternative, right? And I'm obviously a lot more variables in my slower car, but what do you think from your program specifically, or for you as a racer, that you're missing or that you have missed? Or is there anything to winning a world championship? Obviously, right now, I know you're not going to races, but, like, outside of that.
And it's still the same thing, because I can remember the years, when I say that I only made 5 real shots at it, I mean, my problem is committing to it. Not necessarily because, like, I for instance, pulling into that 50 grander, but all the years that I've done it, I would put together a few races in super comp and then sell my race car.
Yeah, sure.
Because I could make $2,000.
Right.
So, like, I've always had a super stocker there, but it's never been a full commit thing, and we just go race it. But the last couple of years that I was doing it, I was getting more committed, to the programs that I was running. And now, if I, ever decide to go back to it, what I'm doing now is getting to a point with my program where it is, something I can commit to. But it was always commitment for me in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah. I just, like I said, I'm always interested to see, like, you see the guys who win the world, and they're, I look at Justin Lamb's program a lot, right? Like, his dad and the things that Kyle was a part of, and the stuff that, like, Justin Lamb's program, if you were going to design a sportsman program, I would be like, this is the program we want. This guy's won in everything, top dragster, super stock, like, this is the program you want. You want a guy who's never raced until Christopher Lamb just made a lap down the racetrack, just to be clear with everybody, okay? Like, from my understanding, he's never been on a racetrack as a stalker. And so, like, they built that program and made it what it is. And, like, it's always interesting to see. And then you see guys, like you said, like Bob Locke, when he won, like, that was a moonshot. His thing was like, I'm not even going. And Division 3 was like, no, you're going. We'll figure out how to get you there. And, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's, like, these polar opposites of winning, but I always feel like they do share a lot of the same things, like you were talking about, Luke, like what it takes to win. They're sharing some of those very similar points. Sorry, Tyler. Go
When
ahead.
you talk, well, I was just thinking about when you talk about your equipment, or think about the guys that year in and year out do this.
Yeah.
Cooter Hidalgo
Yep.
has a stocker and a super stocker. He foot brakes both of them. They both have LS1s.
Yep. Oh yeah. Jeff Atkinson
Just
says that all the time too.
Yeah, Jeff Atkinson got
Yeah.
two 427 Copo
Yep.
LS7s.
Yep.
Justin Lamb's got two modified cars and a Copo. Like, he's made enough runs.
Yeah.
Like the guys that you see, Sherman has ran the same two cars with the same two combinations. It's just that's that committing to it thing. I think it all comes back to, but that's committing to your equipment.
Yeah, 1,000%. All right.
Question for you, Tom. I'm curious to get your insight on this. I found myself thinking down this rabbit hole the other day. We sung the praises of Cooter, right, and Jimmy Hidalgo Jr. What's more impressive, what Cooter does on the NHRA scene, or what Nick Hastings does on the bracket scene?
So I've actually went back and forth. I still think it's what Cooter does, because he does it in two cars. And I guess at this point, like, it's every time he goes to the racetrack, which Nick goes to the racetrack a lot more. I think if you take the 2 or 3 or 4 years that I don't think Nick has raced as much the last year or two, but that 3 or 4 years for Nick, I don't know if you could say that Cooter is doing that, but I think it just seems to never end with Cooter. He's never going to lose early. He's always going to be there, probably twice. It's just something that I don't think I've seen.
When I was thinking about it, I thought, I think they could switch roles, and obviously they would both be successful in the other, but I don't think either one of them would be near as good as the other at what they do, right?
I've thought the same thing about those two guys. I just don't think, like, they would not be the other.
So
for sure.
I spent way too much time on this. How about this for Cooter? Like, I don't even keep track of this. Like, how many times have you finished in the top 10 in the world, Tyler?
Twice.
Okay. And that's like, those are benchmark seasons. I don't know what Cooter's track record here is total. Like, he's been at this. I think of him as a young guy. He's been at this longer than we think.
Yeah.
How about this? Since COVID, since 2020. So 4 seasons. This will be the 5th season. Okay? And I think we can go ahead and chalk it in. Like, Cooter's going to finish in the top 10 in both passes if he's subject to win perhaps 2 more championships. Assuming that happens, in the last 5 seasons, 9 top 10s for Jimmy Hidalgo Jr. 2 world championships already, a 2nd place finish plus whatever he does this year. 9 top 10s in 5 years. He missed it.
That's nuts.
I've never been able, like, I've never doubled up. First off, never doubled up. I've been in the finals of 2 classes a couple times, or like whatever, but just it is rare for me to have, like, in an NHRA race, 2 cars deep. I've always had to focus on one over the other, or just done that myself. That's what's the most impressive thing about him to me.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what you give him, like, he's never sacrificed this one. Like, they're just always there.
Man, 9 out of 10 chances to finish in the top 10. That is absolutely bonkers number right there, dude. If you're not an NHRA guy, I don't care that is unheard of. Okay. That is unparalleled performance consistency, right? Like,
And I'll take it a step further, PJ. I think it's fair to say he finishes top 5 in both this season.
yeah.
That will be 6 top 5s in the last 5 years.
Oh my gosh. That is crazy.
I looked at that last year, actually. I was looking at, like, or maybe the beginning of the year, but him and then actually Monty Joe had like 3 of his 5 chances or something, but there was not, Cooter goes above them all for me because of the 2nd car and the fact that he does it there too.
Yeah. Dang, that is crazy. I mean, that is when you really boil it down, that's the cool thing, right? We're boiling it down here, breaking it down to it. That is an impressive feat. So Cooter is officially, he's the guy, right? If you're talking about building a program, that's another great. I mean, he's one of those guys, right? Not to mention, like, it wasn't that long ago that he wrecked one of those, had to put another one together. Like, he has consistently done the same car, like you said, 2 LS1. Like, he knows what he's doing. They are consistent about their program,
and they're not slow. Like, they're fast cars.
Yeah, they're faster cars. Yeah, dude. They can win every heads up they want to, I think, for the most part, right?
I would probably, yeah.
Right, he's in Super Stock G automatic. Is that right?
Yeah, I would assume. Like, I mean, I have a fast car, but I'm assuming it's faster than mine, judging by what the other LS1s do.
Right, crazy. All right, Luke. We always give this opportunity to our guests. You get to ask us if we've rambled off a few at you. Do you have any questions for me and Tyler that you would like the world to hear?
I'm going to continue down the points theme. There's a couple of classes that we didn't touch on.
Yeah.
Comp eliminator. I think it's not over, but it's kind of over. Like, it's been over for a while. Jeff Lane's going to win the world championship, right? I mean, he's been to. I was looking at. I think he's staged for 8 races.
He's 2-7 right now. 2-7.
Yeah, he's been to 8 events. He's lost 2 rounds.
Yep.
That sounds like a championship season, right? So if he does that, obviously his son Cody won the championship a year ago. Okay. I was looking at this and I thought, I don't know that a father-son's ever gone back to back. And I think, I don't have the greatest research tools, but I think I'm right. I think that's never happened, right? So they will be the first.
That's
right?
cool.
But across all classes, across the entire NHRA landscape, professional classes included, I have 4 other father-son and or father-daughter combos that have claimed national championships. Not back-to-back, but both have won a championship. Any guesses? A little trivia for you.
Schumacher?
I don't know. I was at Force.
Force is one for sure.
Force
Actually,
Warren and Kurt.
Warren and Kurt. Good. All right, you got 2.
Okay.
2 more.
Oh, is it Coletta, Connie and Doug?
Oh, it's got to be. I did not have that on my list, but that cannot be wrong. That's got to be correct.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say that's 3 of the 5.
Okay. So one of them is not. One of them's not Schumacher. Don and.
I think Don had won a championship too. So you may be right there. My pro stats don't go back.
Okay, fair enough.
There's definitely.
You said Warren and Kurt, right? Is it Greg and Aaron Stanfield?
Greg and Aaron, good. Yep. All right. The other one is probably the hardest because it is not. It's not in the professional categories, but it's also not what we would consider the traditional Lucas Oil race.
Oh, it's got to be. Yeah.
Is it alcohol guy or something?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, is it the dude Harada and somebody?
No.
Oh, I thought his dad ran.
No.
That's on the tip of
It's
tongue.
not Mazza.
No, I don't think Manzo ever had a.
Manzo, yeah.
Austin?
Manzo.
Didn't Austin have a
Pat Austin and his dad?
Pat and his uncle Walt. I don't know if Walt ever won a championship. It was his uncle.
Okay. Interesting.
Right, was it Walt?
Hey, Pat Austin's still doing it, by the way. He was at Nightfire in Boise. Still crushing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Nitro.
He's got a nostalgia funny car. Yeah. Okay.
You're in the right era when you think Pat Austin.
Okay.
I am? Okay. Damn, that is going to bug me. I'm going to not get it either.
Looking at the chat here.
Okay, so it is an alcohol or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe that both won championships in alcohol funny car.
Damn. I'm trying to think of who has a kid that even raced alcohol into the thing.
It's probably got to be somebody out west.
Yeah, it's got to be somebody else. They're all out west back then. I don't know. I'm out of guesses. I can't think of anybody else.
Brad and Randy Anderson.
Oh
shit!
You know what's so
funny? I even
Dude,
went over to the family and started thinking about the family.
Hold on. Earlier in the chat, Walt called out he thinks that Shelly and Randy won on the same day. So it's funny that you said Brad and Randy.
They did win on the same day, yeah.
Okay, because we were talking about the brother-sister thing, and I was like, I can't believe that's ever happened before. That's crazy. So that's funny that it came back around. Brad Anderson and Randy Anderson. Very cool, man. Oh, Ryan and Brian McClanahan, both world champions.
Son, world champions.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How did I miss that? That's absolutely.
I don't know. That's the one that was like,
recent.
And the grandfather too. Shout out to see. I love this part of it, man. We getting the chats going now, baby. The chat's involved.
That's right. That's right. We need some
I love to see that. If Glenn Treadwell and his daughter would ever win one, that would be cool. And compliment. Yeah, they do got it going on. I know we're coming up on time. Like I said, we've been at this for an hour 40. And Luke, I just want to thank you so much for joining us, man. Obviously, like I said, anything you want to give a shout out to before we go? Anything else you want to mention?
No, I've kept people here long enough, but this has been fun, man. I appreciate you guys having me on.
No, we do appreciate it. Don't forget to check out at Luke Bogacki Motorsports on all Facebook, Instagram, all those pages you can check out. His kids are doing it now too, man. They're incredible. Wife, as always, doing a great job. They stay up on. They run I-57 basically. I don't know if y'all know. They just run roughshod over there in Illinois, but.
Well, I'll tell you this much, PJ. If you come to I-57 drag strip and you watch the races for more than 15 minutes,
Yeah.
you will see one of us ride down the racetrack.
Yeah, that's
Guaranteed.
exactly. I know y'all are hauling. That's why I told Chris. I was like, "Damn, it's a good thing you don't have to work no more. You'd be working you wouldn't even get to race. You'd have to work on a car every round. You wouldn't even get to do this no more." I love that, man. Shout out to Chris Estep too. One of my favorite people as well. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm PJ North for Tyler Bohannon and Luke. Thanks for joining us. This is the BE00TAKE00 Show. We'll be back again next week covering all of our shenanigans at St. Louis. Tyler's probably doing some radio prep or something. I don't know. He's got to scrape the track for 27 hours at US 60.
Probably.
But we will be back.